did things like that.
Yep.
I decided to refinish it.
Okay.
And, but it took me all summer. So that's why I'm like, oh, all these refinishing projects,
They take so long.
I know they take a long time.
Well, you pay somebody, but that gets expensive.
Yeah, I am a DIY spirit, like
Yeah.
through and through.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just how it is.
I like it a lot too, but you got to pick where you spend your time.
That's true.
So speaking of,
Yes.
Christina Anastassopoulos,
Yes.
artist, local artist in Ottawa, and we are sitting here in front of a piece of art by Christina.
Yes.
And there's probably others around that I can maybe take some pictures of afterwards and post.
Mhm.
But welcome to Artists About Art.
Thanks for having me. And welcome to my studio home.
Thank you so much. And I am kind of excited about this because I know you're always into all sorts of different stuff. I know that you work with meaning, you work in different media, you work in series often, so I'm hoping you're going to tell me about some of that stuff.
Yeah, I think when it comes to working in series, I need to have somewhere to put my focus.
Yep.
Otherwise, there's too many ideas. Which, funnily enough, this year I'm leaning into all the ideas as I work in my sketchbook, and I'm not trying to have any focus other than just honing my skills. But I find, yes, I'll come to, let's say with my bee series that I painted a few years ago, like I had this central theme that I was working out, and the only way to flesh it out was to do it with many different paintings so that I could attack each angle.
Yep.
So the Great Glebe Mythology series has been truncated for now as I work through my sketchbook era at the moment. But that's not done either.
Okay.
So like there will be a return,
Yeah.
to that. So
So you have a Greek background, I believe?
yes,
And so that is in line with the Greek background, right? The mythologies?
yes, that's right.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of cool. Did you pick it for that reason?
I think, well, I'm definitely one for like alliteration.
Okay.
So, and because I like to paint my neighborhood,
Yep.
I think that's where that initially came from. Like, because I was painting scenes within the Glebe,
Yep.
but then adding this layer of story to it, and I just couldn't help but like pair the two, the Greek mythologies, the Glebe mythologies, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
And then it's allowing me, sadly enough, I don't know enough about like my Greek culture.
Right.
So I am first generation here, but there's a lot of things I don't know, and I feel like I have to now go out and research and learn about the mythology so that I can then put that into my work, which is it's a great research project for myself too.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Now I've known you for maybe a couple of years.
Yeah.
How long have you been an artist? Is this a lifelong
Oh
thing?
my gosh. No, definitely not. How long have I been an artist? You know, some people would say always.
Yeah.
I would not say so. I would say it's like the newest of new in my life. Gosh, in fact, I was trying to think, I was looking through my house to see like when did I make that switch from printmaking to painting?
Okay.
And the painting started in 2023.
Okay.
And I had never really painted before that.
Wow.
So I have, even as a kid, I sketched, I drew, I loved it. I never associated that with me being an artist. I don't know what it is. I always put myself into, I'm a crafty girl.
Yep.
So all the things that I would do, which was so many different things, as I was young, early 20s, like I never saw that as me being an artist.
Yep.
So, and then I have an art history degree.
Okay, so do I.
You do. That's awesome. So you see, like I honestly found my way through it backwards. Like, and I worked in galleries and championed other artists, and never once, now I have a thing for writing too. So it was like, that was exciting for me to be immersed in art in that way, and still never once saw myself as an artist until many years later. And then I had started printmaking like in my 20s, but it wasn't until my 30s that I started kind of seriously getting into it.
Yeah. Silk screen or what? Or
no,
lino
lino.
cut? Okay.
Yeah, lino printing. I have done some silkscreen.
Yeah.
There are remnants of silkscreen powders through this house.
Okay.
Disasters that have happened and are still like marked in this home. But yeah, lino carving for sure. But one thing that I never progressed that.
Okay.
I was always doing one color and then like a one color print. And then if I wanted to add more color, I would then add it in with paint.
Okay.
I was then hand coloring it.
Right.
And I got to this crossroad where I realized if I wanted to add more color, I would have to learn reduction printing or switch.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad because I realized that actually what I was doing was not really necessarily jiving with who I am as an artist.
Right.
So, as much fun as carving is, that process, that time period to get to color was not like, it's just for me, I would much rather like have the immediacy of color as opposed to waiting. So I realized about myself that as an artist, I'm not meticulous, and although I enjoy some things like painting small and whatnot at times, it's not my modus operandi. I much prefer to be free with my art. That's where it gives me the most joy. And so I'm so glad. And there were so many steps. I don't know if you've done this, but like I have put so many constructs around what I can and can't do, it seems. Yeah. So like when I first wanted to cross over to paint from lino printing, I had to like give myself these set of rules. Mm-hmm. So I bought wood blocks.
Okay.
And carved into them and then painted them.
Okay, so that's like a transition. That's like going into woodblock printing in order to get to painting.
Yeah. And then but it was like, going. Oh.
I've just realized I plugged in the ring light and never switched it on. How clever is that?
No.
So you moved over to wood blocks?
So, well, not, yeah, for very briefly. I was in an art show. I did one painting. It never sold. I'm glad it didn't sell. It's up in my daughter's room.
Yeah.
And I think I did one more that way, and then I abandoned that ship. And I realized I was making my life very difficult, and it was really hard to even paint on top of that because you could only, especially when you buy those, they're very thin piece of wood, so you can only carve it a certain way.
Yeah.
So then I abandoned that ship and went fully to color, and I'm so glad that I did. It took me a long time for me to understand who I was, and I think give myself permission to be the artist that I want to be.
Yeah. And I do think that's a common theme. I certainly felt that way, to give yourself permission to be an artist. Mm-hmm. And when I was a kid, I felt like there's this magical category of people who are artists. Mm. Like I can do art, but to be an artist is something completely different. And it took me a long time to realize, yeah, I'm an artist too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and claim it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know. I don't know where that comes from. Like, does it come from like feelings of self-worth? You know? Yes, I think so. But I don't know what like society has also like laid onto us where we have. Some people don't have that. They're just like, I'm an artist, here I am.
You're right.
You know, now I'm that, but like it's taken me a long time of like, oh, you know.
Well, I wonder if you go to school, when you go to school.
Maybe that's it. Okay, so I'm self-taught. Are you self-taught?
No, yeah. Pretty much, mostly, yeah. But I'm thinking more like elementary and high school. Every year you get English, you get French, you get math, you get, science, you get all the classes, geography, whatever. They come back year after year after year, and you move on to the next level. And art's not like that. Mm-hmm. The art is maybe a teacher's incorporating some art. There's no real progression until you get to high school and you choose it as that optional credit and do it year after year.
Yeah.
But even then, now with no longer having grade 13, which is fine, but that means that's basically 6 to 8 credits less that every student gets. Mm-hmm. So if you want to graduate by grade 12, which most do, what are you sacrificing?
Yeah.
So the arts are not built into the system. The arts are put in there as the extra. Mm-hmm. And so I think that communicates something to us.
That's true.
And I'd love to see that structure changed. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm hopeful that this whole push towards AI is actually going to get a rebound effect where people are actually looking for more human content and more handmade content, the things that the AI can't do.
Yeah.
And computer people will never do.
It's true. In fact, it's already happening, right?
Yeah.
Like, so this year, there seems to be, like, at the start of the year, like, so many people declare, like, this is the year of analog, right?
Okay.
And then
Perfect.
we're realizing that, like, the year of the analog is we're still broadcasting it in our social media.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
We're completely tied
to get around that,
right?
Yeah.
You know? But, I mean, I chose to do this year of sketchbooking.
Yep.
And it is making me, every single day, I'm constantly doing something analog. Now, maybe as a painter, we're already, like, living that world, you know? But I think there is that desire on the greater, you know, community that to do more things with our hands. Like, we've gotten so far removed from how we used to live as humans in the past. I feel like as a kid, my mom would garden. Like, we would see people, like, the touch grass thing, right? Like, it was a lot more, you know, wholesome versus like how we live now, where we have to go to the market to get our food, and it's coming from, you know, it's like everything is so far removed from what we can do ourselves, you know? So I think there is going to be a comeback to that.
Yeah,
And I'm excited for that, for sure.
I think so
you
too,
know?
yeah.
It's almost like there's going to be a revival of, like, the craftsman period.
Yeah.
Right?
That would be very cool.
So,
And how much better off would most people be if they had a creative
outlet,
project, hobby, whatever in their lives?
Well, they say, true, right? Like, isn't there's research that has found that, like, even if you engage with the arts, like, 4 times within a year, it, like, increases your lifespan by, like, whatever that percentage is.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I
they're
haven't read that,
finding
but
research that, like, because I think it feeds into, like, your nervous system, right? Like, when you're doing art, when you're creating something, it's, like, it's calming, it's, you know, and so it ends up, it's becoming very important even for memory. It's really important. I learned the other day that, and this is something I don't write enough. I may constantly be creating and arting and drawing and painting, but I'm not necessarily writing. But there's a link between keeping your memory when you're older and daily writing, so journaling.
Now, do you have, I will post your, when I get this all together, I will post your Instagram, because then people can go back and check the day-by-day progress on your sketchbook, which I've been watching recently, and it's really fascinating. A, that you're sticking to it, and B, all the different prompts you're coming up with day after day. But you also have a website.
I do have a website.
So,
yes. So you can link that.
When you post, I don't know if you call it that, put a painting on your website, are you writing about it?
I am, yeah.
So that's some writing,
That's
right?
true.
That's explaining.
I haven't updated my website.
I know. Well, it's non-stop, right?
If anything, I know, and that's one thing. Like, you know, and like, you are very consistent with, like, you're sending out a really thoughtful newsletter each month, and that has pushed me to want to do that too. Which means I'm due for one for the end of February right now. So yes, and I do want to. I in fact, like, opened up a blog section on my website.
Okay.
I have yet to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pieces I feel like I'm.
Yeah.
And, like, it's so much easier and fun to just, like, be drawing and painting every day, right?
Well, I find that when you have an intention, and I don't really make New Year's resolutions, but I get a sense towards the end of a year, I look back at what I've done and I think towards what I'd like to accomplish. And so in 2025, I wanted to understand the business of art better. I wanted to understand how to improve my website, how to, get into shows, how to, all these things, what's the right way to do stuff. And I did focus on that, and part of that, well, not exactly part of, but part of my journey last year was I said, I'm committing to one newsletter every month. And I put out 12. There was 1 month I skipped, so I added a short second one to the following month. And so this year I said, okay, I've learned a lot, but I'm almost fed up of this business of art business. For where where I am now, I need to focus on my creativity. But I also realized that I was missing these conversations because of spending a lot of time in the studio.
That's true.
So I thought, how am I going to do this? Other people might be interested. I'll start a podcast with all my, technological savvy of switching on the light halfway through. But who cares?
No, I'm glad that you did this, though.
It's real, it's human. So I've committed this year. I'm going to continue my newsletters, but I'm adding this in. And I haven't even figured out a schedule. I'm thinking I like the idea of every 3 weeks, post a new interview, conversation.
Yeah.
Because a month seems too long and 2 weeks is too much pressure on me.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about every 3 weeks or so. And at the end of the year, I'll reevaluate. I'll either say, this was great, I'm going to keep going, or that was a great experiment, let's move on,
Yeah.
But I'm so far, I'm really enjoying it, and people are enthusiastic, and we'll see where it goes.
No, that's great. It's a great way to build community.
So what I was saying also, the relationship to what you were saying, is that you were talking about that commitment to putting out, something like the newsletter every month. You've made the commitment to do your sketchbook every day.
Yeah.
I haven't done that. I was in full-on production because I had...
You had that massive commission.
Massive series of commissions that took me all of last year. I did a few of my own, but a lot of commissions. Extremely thankful. But making the switch this year, I needed a refocus. And so you are making commitments, but you're making a different one this year. Your commitment is the sketchbook.
That's true.
And you can be thinking ahead. Do you want to do a newsletter? Do you want to do a blog? What is it that you're drawn to? And when you're feeling that you're at the tail end of the sketchbook, maybe, or maybe that's forever, but then you can refocus on the next thing.
That's true. That's true. But I find that it almost it's almost a good year to make sure that I keep that commitment of writing. Yeah. And I've also recently joined Substack.
Yes,
which I'm really loving because it feels like it's a smaller community. Now nobody knows me on it yet. I have 2 followers maybe or something. I don't know. But there is a spontaneous writing that's happening there.
Okay.
I'm
not really familiar yet.
Yeah. So I find that it's like I think I posted something. Well, I guess last week or this Sunday, and it was just I just felt like writing something, and so there it was, without it being this I'm going to sit there and think about it. I just wrote it, and there it all, So, and I think because I'm going through this sketchbook process right now, and my goal for this year was to just play again and hone my skills and try everything.
Yeah.
Because I was definitely focused in on the things that I'm interested in. But then I just feel like I haven't given myself the opportunity to play in all the different ways.
Yeah.
I have never, in fact, I'm the girl that says never. I was like, I'll never paint a landscape. Do you remember? I was like, I'll never, and now look at me. I'm like, hey, I want to paint landscapes, and also they're hard. So I'm having a lot of fun trying all these things, right? Yeah. So that's kind of my goal this year, and I think it's keeping the writing aspect is a nice way to check in.
Yep.
And share what I'm feeling, experiencing, learning as I go through this process.
Yeah.
So I feel like those are hand in hand. But I too, last year, I spent my whole year painting on canvas.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful, it was a great year for that. It was productive. It was, I found new people to collect my art. That was wonderful. But I feel like I was also allowing myself to have this lag time to my creativity, because I would have these crazy bursts where I wouldn't sleep and paint 6 things in 2 days, and then I would have that big, I just need that downtime. But if I want to have that artist life that I think in my head, it really has to be every single day, as many hours as I can pack in that I can just be arting. So that's my goal for this year. And I don't care about shows. I think I'm going to try for the garden one again. I'll to get into that one. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But past that, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
And yes, okay, I'm doing the skate deck show. Yes. But I'm not looking to do any other big festivals or anything like that.
I'm feeling the same. Yeah. I don't know what it is about this year, but all the ones that I considered applying for, I'm like, nope. There's 2 or 3 that I'm doing that are kind of built into my year.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the art in the garden. I'm doing the art factory art fair in Renfrew.
Yeah. So the ones,
there's one in September out at Mariposa Farm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a square foot show. and I did it last year. It was just really nice, low-key experience. So
Yeah.
I'm doing those, but not the ones that you have to haul all your art and haul all your grids and apply and maybe be rejected or
Exactly.
accepted, but then
All
it
that extra
costs you
stress.
money. And
Yeah.
and I found last year it just it took away from my painting time, because summer is prime painting time, right? Open the
Yeah.
windows, go outdoors, whatever. And instead, here I am hauling stuff around.
Yeah, that's true.
Which
That's
is-
true, yeah.
It's great. I'll
And
go
it-
back to it, but
Yeah.
not right now.
I'm not into that pressure right now this year.
Yeah.
Like, and especially since I'm not painting on canvas quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
The thought of having to build that collection in order to go sell seems daunting.
Mm-hmm.
So I would rather just,
Yeah.
work, just make art and see where it goes. I really just want to play this year.
Yeah.
That's the need. I think I when I did that artist residency a couple years ago, and I think it made me shift how I was looking at my art. And it's that academic thing, right? Where it's like, oh, your art has to say something. And it has to mean something. And although I do infuse meaning in my art, I think it was making me take it too seriously, and therefore stopping me from actually just creating.
Right.
Right? There was too many steps to like put in place first before just getting onto the canvas.
Yep.
And now I just want to be at that stage. So,
Okay.
and then we'll see what happens. Like, I feel like that's the birth of all creativity, and who knows where we'll be in a year if we're just focusing on play this year.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and there's a theory that no matter what you do, humans are sort of reality or meaning creating machines. So even if you try to do something that's completely random, I don't believe in random, but it's completely random or unplanned, it's going to build and you're going to have meaning associated with it. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen if you intend it or not.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's an interesting. I've never thought about that, but it's true. We are constantly reflecting on everything that we do as humans.
And even your color choices. By the time you throw some colors on a canvas and look how they combine, it's going to make you think of something. So the associations will come.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which kind of, again, I keep finding when I have these artist conversations, I'm thinking of the people out there who are non-artists and thinking, oh, so that's what it is, just throwing paint to the canvas, anybody could do that kind of thing. But it's actually, that is the work, that is the hard work, is to get that authentic, spontaneous, human stuff out there.
That's true. It is the work. It's also so personal, right? Like each artist has a color palette they're drawn to.
Yes.
And what I'm discovering now that I am painting everything is that like I feel happiest in a certain color palette. If I'm trying to make things true to life, it feels chaotic to me.
Yep.
So yeah, we all have a certain way we like to see things. Even if you look through my house, there's like a strong color palette, and it's also the one that I painted too.
Yeah.
So and that's where as artists we get to share how we see the world with others. And
people who align with your color choices will be drawn to your work.
That's true.
So it's, they'll connect.
So then you find the people. You find your people.
You find your people. Yeah, just like artists, it's kind of neat to hang out with other artists because you find your people. People who are going through similar stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. That connection is important.
Yeah.
And I will say that, like, because when I used to do the regular markets, there was a lot more connection. So it is important to have these artist dates, you know. And there's a couple friends that I also try and keep up with where we go and meet for coffee and we chat and, because otherwise it is quite just you in your own little space. And yes, we have social media, but that's a parasocial thing. It's not the same as having a connection like this.
That's right. Yeah. And I've considered, even for a podcast, can I meet virtually with people at a distance? But right now I'm really sticking to the in-person. I think there's a different There's a different energy when you're with somebody in person compared to just, then it becomes an interview.
Yes.
If I'm on the online and, you know, whereas this can be just a conversation.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Well, having gone through COVID, right? And like
Yes.
the Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
Which even me through this winter, I've had some meetings that normally are in person.
Yeah.
We've had to go to, and like when you're, as soon as you're online, you do check out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, okay, I'm at this meeting.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, being actually engaged when you're face to face with somebody. Yeah.
And right now, I tend to, right now I'm dealing with, I use a lot of Google products. I've got a Google Pixel, I've got a Google Chromebook is my laptop, and my lovely little Chromebook, the camera's not working. So if I join a meeting, they can't see me. You feel a little less accountable when they can't see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you're trying to be good, you're sitting there listening, nodding, but you know, they don't see me. So
you could be doing anything. You could be drawing.
Yes.
The last meeting I had that was online, I was like, I don't know why I'm sitting here with my camera on when I could just turn it off. So many other people did.
Yeah.
And I could be drawing instead.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
But it's, I probably should, you know, get that fixed at some point or get a new one or something. But I feel like I don't need it that desperately. Yeah, but it would get in the way of meetings and stuff, even doing online meet with another artist. But no, I want to do the in-person right now, and who knows down the road in the future, but right now, meet with the people I can actually get together with. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we met at that festival.
Which
2 years ago?
Yeah.
When was that?
Oh,
that was
yeah,
Sweetly Affordable Art Fair.
Yeah, which doesn't run anymore.
No. Sadly, no. Although my experience was comical actually at that one, just because of the weather at the end.
Oh, was it I think that was my second year.
Was that your second year? So
when
that was my only year. And there was a giant pit when I first arrived in my stall. And one of the organizers tried to fix it. Yeah, they came filling it with gravel and stuff like that. And then I put down a huge plywood board that my husband had given me to cover that giant hole. Yeah. And then we put a giant tarp on top of that. But then when the rain hit, that's when I realized this is why this stall in particular, because it like just went straight into my stall. Yeah. And like that giant, I think I had like a 6-foot piece of plywood, and it was floating. Like my whole stall was just floating. In retrospect, I wish I had actually grabbed my phone and actually filmed it. Yeah, but instead I was in panic mode, like all the things, and I had prints and stuff too, right? Like printmaking, paper. Yeah, paper products. So it's like I was just trying to secure everything. But yes, for those who aren't familiar, the Sweetly Affordable Art Fair, took place at Wesley Clover Park, which is an equestrian park in the west end of Ottawa. So normally as artists going to fairs, we have to bring these tents or canopies along and our own grid system and all that. Still needed some grids there, but you get a horse stall that's more or less been cleaned out for you. And so it's handy because it's got mostly solid sides and a roof. I know. And you can lock it overnight. Yeah. So it's a really great system. But that second year that I went, your first year, they hadn't leveled inside the stalls, so they had to come around and try to do that. And then that big storm. After the storm, which only lasted maybe half an hour, I know, swept through, but it was devastating. And at the end of the show, at the end of the show, the Sunday afternoon, the kids who were there with their parents, they went, I kid you not, swimming in one of the puddles. Really? Yeah. They were lying down and kicking around. Like it was not 3 feet deep, but it was probably a foot deep. Yeah. And it was huge. It was like a room, you know. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't miss that part of like the outdoor shows are difficult. I know. They're challenging, but it's a way to see people and have people see your art and meet with different artists. Absolutely. Like, there's a lot of benefits to it. I know. There's the pros and cons to them. Yeah. And I will not say, because I know that I'm like the queen of never say never, and then that's exactly what happens. Yeah. But for right now, there's definitely a pause on any type of like that market life. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Yeah.
So where did you study art history?
At Carleton.
Carleton.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I do have a psychology degree, but I had quit with 1 year left.
All right.
Back when I first started university. Because my life found me in party mode and Rageland. So I definitely was like, I don't need this. And
lots of stories.
That was that. Yeah. So when I decided to go back after a couple of years to finish it,
yeah,
I randomly took an art history as an elective. And I was like, this is exactly where I need to be.
Yeah.
So then I instead of finishing psych, I finished psych and also did a second degree in art history.
That's like virtually identical to my story.
Really?
I didn't do psych. I was young and going to university, and my parents said, don't take a gap year. If you leave, you might not come back. Just pick something to study.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a lot of languages in the family background, my parents being from 2 different European countries, and I grew up in Montreal, so you got the French built in and so on and so forth. So I said, okay, I'm going to go study languages. We'll see what happens. So I did that at McGill. I was there for a couple of years, I think in my 3rd year, I don't even remember, I decided to take an art history elective and fell in love. I'm like, this is what I want to do. And I actually wanted to do that and then go into the fine art. So I switched my major to art history, but I did basically a double major. Took all my art history credits and all my language credits and graduated with both, and put out an application for the fine arts, but the waiting list was like 2-3 years long. They had way more applications than they could take at the time. And I was 20 something at that point, and also getting ready to move on with my life. So the thought of waiting a couple of years and then going back to university for several years was just overwhelming. Yeah. So I left, and then a few years later had a couple kids, and while they were small, I got my B.Ed. And ended up teaching art for a number of years until I said, you know what, I'm going to stop doing that and do this full time.
Amazing.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's very similar path at the
beginning. I can't imagine going back to school now.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I think, gosh, there's some things I feel like I got wrong, like, in terms of the psych degree.
Yeah.
Like, I should have gone into nutrition from that.
Mm.
You know, and it's like, I didn't see it until it's like that hindsight is 2020, but 20 years out, it's like, oh, I didn't even make that connection when I was in school. But and even now, like, because I actually want to get into illustration, which I may take a course at some point, but all of that feels like, oh my gosh, like, I've done so much school in my life, you know, because I also, like, took, little interest courses at Algonquin while I was in university. Like, I've taken a lot of school, and I feel like I just want to be in the action mode now versus learning.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always learning all the time, but I don't necessarily want to be in an academic setting.
Yeah. I think BFA would be cool.
Mm-hmm. That would be fun. You're right.
Yeah. I think you'd get a lot of leeway to experiment with that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I like what I'm doing now. So, what for?
Right?
Yeah.
This is our experiment year.
Yeah.
It's like going back to school for us.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So self-taught, and like you said, little courses here and there, pick up what you need to. I've worked with other community artists, and, this one for printmaking, that one for oil paints, this, that kind of thing. Taught myself how to, with help, but learned at one point how to do black and white darkroom photography. I taught that for a few years till the school board decided they didn't like the chemicals and just got rid of it. Really too bad. But, there's been a lot of opportunities to learn, and I think they're always there. If you're looking to learn, you're going to find it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And you have kids. Are they artistic? Do they love art?
Okay, my daughter is nonstop. So she's 100% artistic. There's no stopping her. Our house is full of her art and my art, and our art making supplies are throughout. So she definitely has it. My son he's about to be 13 years old. So he's going through a different shift right now. His art is different. He has it in him, but he's not always into it. And he also has what I love about, because my daughter like does clay, she draws, she paints, like anything.
Yeah.
She's in all the things.
Yeah.
My son does like to draw, but he also has this weird knack for like wanting to make masks.
Oh, cool.
And build things out of paper mache.
Yeah, very cool.
So it's like over the years, the amount of like headgear that he's made,
Yeah.
just out of like, I need to make this mask now. You know, so that's his interest.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's very cool.
But yeah, they're definitely, and I'm glad that they're seeing it around them so much,
Yeah.
and not as a hobby, as a, this is a way of life.
Yeah.
You know, so that they, when they grow up, they can choose whatever without
Yeah.
seeing certain things relegated to, oh, this is not going to make you money, or
Yeah.
the world has changed a lot. You know, so
It has. And as a high school teacher, I heard a lot of parents say of talented kids, you know, this is a great hobby, but what's your career going to be? And, you know, and as I've discussed with other artists, it's not the easiest way of making a living.
No, it's absolutely not.
You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're looking for opportunities, you're learning, you're doing stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference from some other entrepreneurial things is if you come up with a clothing line, you can mass produce that.
That's true.
Art, not so much. You can do prints, but you know,
Yeah.
mostly it's one-off.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So.
But I think the ones that go, like the ones that we gravitate to it for that
Yeah.
reason almost, you know?
Yeah.
But I
absolutely.
think because we have social media nowadays,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier for us to be able to market ourselves,
Yeah. Get out there.
you know, versus having to rely on some of these old institutions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so are you taking it sort of one project at a time? Right now it's the sketchbook, and we'll see what comes next, or do you
Yeah.
have other
I mean,
ideas in the pipeline?
I would love to get into illustration,
Yeah.
but I really feel that for me to say that, like, I don't have the legs to say that right now.
Mhm.
Like, I need to build up, because, like I said, I was working last year, like, on canvas,
Yep.
and not necessarily sketching every single day. I would sketch to make a certain piece, you know? So not really trying all the different things.
Yeah.
And so that's where I just need to build up, I guess, build a portfolio. This is what it is. I'm sketching, but also trying to build a portfolio
Yeah.
in this year, and, you know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
And maybe you'll find somebody, or somebody will find you, who can say, well, this is what it takes to be an illustrator.
Mhm.
You know, here's some of the steps, here's some of the things you need to know, and that'll take you down the next path.
yeah,
I do feel that I always say the world will realign for you, but you have to take the first step down the road.
that's true.
You know, you take that first step, then whoop, all of a sudden, you know,
Mhm.
the road opens up.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is the way for everything, right?
Yeah.
It's same with just how you think. Like, you can have a dark way of, you know, like a negative way of viewing the world, or whatever it is that's in front of you, or a positive, and like that shift changes everything around you. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think it's true. As long as we just throw ourselves into whatever it is, then things come your way. But you have
Yeah.
to be doing the work.
You have to be doing the work, and yeah, and it's the old thing, you can't wait for inspiration to find you. You gotta go and start doing the work, and you'll find the inspiration.
Yeah.
And that's
That-
tough sometimes for people to say, well, I'm not feeling inspired to do anything, so what do you want me to do? But the answer is something. It's
Yeah.
something. Just start doing it.
That's
And
exactly
it'll
it. That's why I chose to do this year.
Yep.
Because I felt like I had all these lag time where I thought, oh, I'm just germinating.
Yeah.
And then the next inspiration will hit.
come. Yeah.
But as I'm doing daily now, I'm realizing it's not about that. The inspiration is actually boundless.
Yes.
So really, you just have to put pen or paintbrush or whatever to paper,
Yeah.
and like things flow from that.
Yeah.
And it becomes easier the more you're working it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's definitely what I found from when I first started at the beginning of the year to now. Like, it was, you can even see it in the work, where it's like you have those, oh, what am I going to make, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just like every day something different is happening.
Yep.
So it really, it's that exercising that muscle. Like, it's a muscle that you have to.
And if people do feel really, really stuck, they can go online and search for cues, or search for somebody who's put out a little how-to video on how to draw, you know, whatever, a kitten or something like that. And so you follow the steps. You learn from that.
Mm-hmm.
But that will, at least doing something like that, you'll learn it and then you move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
comes.
the prompt list that I started with this year,
Yeah.
like when I did the Bird Fest challenge in January.
Okay.
And then when I decided to start my own little prompt list for this month, which is
Yep.
coming to a close. But in that, like, by going down that rabbit hole, there are and I had never been privy, I guess, to that part of Instagram.
Yep.
Like the amount of daily drawing challenges.
Yes.
There's so many things,
Yeah.
you know? So if you're lacking inspiration, like,
Yeah.
that's where you can find it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And give yourself permission.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell people?
I don't know. Be
Art-
brave, have fun, play.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to repeat what I said last time, that beauty is truth. If it's not true, it's probably not beautiful. And if it's beautiful, it should be true.
That's beautiful.
I didn't come up with it, but I use it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and visiting me.
Yeah. All right, let's hope we were recording all that.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?